So, on a different note, we're doing some pasture health now in one of my cow pastures. Burning it off. You see we done burned a lot of it off. I couldn't really film it because I was fighting fire. But first time that I know of in 33 years that this pasture's been burned off. I've been wanting to do it, just had never had the time to do it, or it's either been too wet. But burning it off helps to put potash back in the ground, helps to put nitrogen back in the ground. It'll help feed the birds with the worms that come up to the top of the ground. Just does a whole lot of good. Sometimes fire is a good thing, but being controlled. If you can keep it controlled, you're all right. Well, we started this fire at roughly 12:45. And I think it's somewhere close to 4 now, or maybe 3 something. I'm not for sure. But anyway, the main thing with this, we tried to do a sectional burn, and it just didn't happen. The wind caught it just after Daddy lit the first spark, and it was gone. So a lot of people would call it fire department. I mean, I'm gonna fight it. But it's nothing but grass, and what it is there's a lot of Bermuda. My pasture's probably 98% Bermuda, and what I'm gonna do is wind up baling it this year. Like I said before, you burn it, it helps to put potash back in the ground, nitrogen back in the ground, some phosphorus stuff. But it hadn't been burned in about 30 something years. I'm 33, be 34 this coming year, and I know it ain't been done. So the pasture's in pretty good shape, but it needed some extra help. And if I can do it like this, it save me some money in the long run. It may take up some of my day, but it'll help. And what I've been fighting it with has been this blower right here. If you have to wait till the wind dies down to use the blower, but you get on the back side of it and you fight it, you can just sort of sweep it out with a sweeping motion like that, and it does really good. You can cover a lot of ground very quick. Just make sure to have plenty of fuel with you. Well, it's getting towards evening, and I'm gonna have to quit here soon. Law states that I gotta have it out before dark or by dark, and I've got 1 or 2 little patches left to burn. That's what I'm working on now. Got this going up here by the catching chute. We'll burn all that way on back in there, all around, and gonna start putting this out on the side here. I don't want it to get across the fence into the mama's collard, turnip, and green patch. Good morning. So this is January the 1st, 2019. I'm in the field that we burnt just a couple of days ago, and I had to wait to finish this video so I could show you what the ground was looking like. This field is, I'd say, 80% World Feeder Bermuda. I had the same grass in my other hay field just across the road, and I'll show you that in just a minute. But crabgrass come in and overtook it. But before that happened, every time we would bale over there, I would do it in round rolls, and I would take the very last bale and would bring to the cows over here. And what that did, I'd put it in different spots, and what that did, that helped to put, I guess you might say, the seed or the sprigs on top of the ground, and the cows would just mash them in the ground. So over years, this field has become World Feeder Bermuda, and with the cows staying on it hard and heavy, it just kept running. And so now I've got 7 or 8 acres of World Feeder Bermuda, and I didn't have to plant it. I just brought that last bale over here. Every time we'd cut, I'd get about 4 cuts off of it, dumping in different spots, and it just kept on running. And this is what it looks like. That's the field over there that was Royal Feeder Bermuda. I planted that the year I graduated high school, 2004. Yeah, I know it makes me sound old to some, but young to some of the others. But anyway, this is what the after looks like. Of course, we've had all kind of rains since then, but it's all burnt off. Every bit of it's burnt off. And usually there's some of the heifer calves that I kept when I decided to sell all the big cows over here and just cut down on the herd drastically. Here's a little bit of it that's putting back out. Little patches. If you get a couple of warm days, this stuff will put back out like crazy. Then it freezes, it'll go dormant again. But all this we burnt. And pretty interesting story. I'll get to the story in just a minute. I just want to show you my calves. These are a half Black Angus and a half Brown View. Brown View is not really nothing to do with Brahma. There again, it's the world's oldest cattle that they can date back to 10,000 BC, and they've dated them to the ancient Egyptians. But these are some pretty little calves. I'm gonna put them over by my house here in a month or so, so they can grow over there. And over there, you can barely see her, but I kept one mama cow so they would have some company and have some adult supervision so they wouldn't get crazy. But two, if any of you have a pasture like this and you have trees, these old 55-gallon drums, you cut a hole out, put a chain on it and get it angled, and the calves and cows can eat salt out of it, no problem, like this one's fixing to do. See, watch her. She's trying. She just keeps turning them. Get you some salt, babies. That one's got some brangus. Actually, them two's got a little bit of brangus in them too, and I like that. Like that a lot. Now then, the story behind this is we came up here the day we was doing soil samples in the field. I think it's the day after Christmas, and we was in Daddy's dually, and I was driving. I just stopped and asked him if he had his lighter, and he said yeah. Well, we come out here. We didn't have a burn permit at that time, and we just sat a little bit to see what it burned, because it had been raining, and it took off. I said, well, I'll get a permit. So I did have a burn permit after we figured it would burn. But I went to the house and to get a shovel and a leaf blower. I fight fire with a leaf blower. It's kind of weird, I know, but it works. But by the time I had gotten back, we started right here at the gate. And this stuff had took off down there to the back side. It took off from here all the way to the back side. By the time I got back, about a minute, or well, probably 2 minutes later. The house is not very far at all. And whew, it was a fast going fire. But we got it all burnt in about 4 hours. And I'm debating on what kind of fertilizer program I'm gonna do for this. Whether I'm gonna go granular or liquid. So what does burning do? The burning of the fields helps to, it doesn't eradicate bugs, but it helps to knock down on bugs. It helps to control some weeds that's out there. It scorches them and they die. They can and will come back. I'll have to spray for that. But anyway, it helps to put potash back in the ground. It puts some nitrogen in the ground. When it rains like this, it just goes right in the ground, because we've had some nice slow rains. Had one or two that was hard, but most of them slow. And it's just a land management health, so to speak. I suggest doing it. I would burn the woods off if I had a dozer that I could go through and cut a big fire break, but I don't. I got a big tractor, but that ain't gonna cut it hardly. So always remember, when you're gonna burn, you get a burn permit. Figure out if it's gonna burn. If it'll burn, get you a burn permit. Easiest thing in the world to do. Doesn't cost nothing. It'll keep you out of a whole lot of trouble if something was to happen. So anyway, this is my second video. Give me a thumbs up, give me a thumbs down if you don't like it. Leave me a comment. How can I do this better? Anyway, I wish y'all a happy new year, and hopefully 2019 will be very prosperous for you. Thank you for watching.